In the 1880s, London doctors described a disease that made young women's jawbones glow, faint and greenish, in the dark. It began as a toothache. It ended with surgeons cutting dead bone out of a living face. The factory where these women worked knew what was causing it. Its solution was to pull their teeth and send them back to the line. The product was the ordinary match. Strike Anywhere matches were tipped with white phosphorus, a chemical so unstable it can burst into flame in open air. It was cheap, it lit on any rough surface, and nearly every household in Britain bought it. It was also a slow poison. Inside the match factories, phosphorus vapor hung in the air of the dipping rooms and settled on benches, on hands, and on food. The women and girls ate their meals near the work because there was nowhere else to eat. When the phosphorus found a bad tooth, it seeped into the bone beneath and killed it. The dead bone abscessed and had to be cut away. Workers called the disease Phossy jaw.
The biggest name in British matches was Bryant and May, a respectable Quaker-founded company with a vast factory in Bow, in London's East End. Its workforce was mostly women and girls, many of them between 15 and 20, drawn from some of the poorest streets in the city. A woman's wage averaged around 11 shillings a week, less for the girls, and the company docked fines from it for talking, for dropping matches, for an untidy bench. Around the factory, the East End was so poor that charity researchers mapping London shaded whole blocks black, their lowest class. A job at Bryant and May was hard to get and easy to lose. That fear kept the benches full and the sick quiet.
Bryant and May knew about Phossy jaw. Doctors on the continent had described it decades earlier, and some countries had already begun restricting white phosphorus. The company managed the disease as a business problem. When a worker's face began to ache, the standing instruction was to have the teeth pulled at once. Refusing could cost her the job. If the disease took hold anyway, the case was kept quiet. The worker was let go, and the swollen face disappeared from the factory floor. For the late cases, in the years before antibiotics, surgeons had one real treatment: remove the jawbone before the infection killed the patient.
In June 1888, The Secret met a journalist. Annie Besant, a socialist writer with her own weekly paper, stood at the factory gates and asked the workers what happened inside. On June 23rd, she published their answers under the title White Slavery in London: the wages, the fines, the fumes, the toothaches that ended under a surgeon's knife. She told her readers that Bryant and May's shareholders had lately enjoyed dividends of more than 20%. The company threatened to sue her. Then its managers walked the factory floor with prepared statements declaring the article false and pressed the workers to sign. They refused. In early July, the company sacked one of them, and 1,400 women and girls put down their work and walked out. They had no union and almost no savings, so they built the machinery of a strike from nothing: a register of names, a strike fund fed by public donations, marches, and a deputation that carried their case to Parliament. Newspapers took the story up, and the company's respectable name began to work against it. Within about 2 weeks, Bryant and May surrendered. The sacked worker was reinstated. The fines were abolished. Grievances could be taken straight to management. And the strikers founded the Union of Women Matchmakers, one of the largest unions of women in the country. The poorest, least skilled workforce in London had taken on one of its most famous companies and won. Within a year, the London dockers walked out in a strike that helped remake British labor, and they knew whose example they were following.
But the settlement never touched the poison. Bryant and May kept using white phosphorus, and Phossy jaw kept appearing. By the mid-1890s, the law required factories to report every case of phosphorus poisoning. In 1898, Bryant and May was prosecuted for concealing them. 17 cases it had never reported. The total penalty, fines and costs together, came to about 25 pounds. And over all of it hangs one fact. None of this was necessary. Matches made with red phosphorus, a stable and far safer form of the same element, had existed for decades. Bryant and May even sold them. But safety matches cost more to make, and they only struck on the box. So the cheap poison kept winning. In 1891, the Salvation Army opened a rival factory in the East End to prove the point. It used red phosphorus and paid better wages, and its matches cost about 3 times as much as the ordinary kind. Sympathetic shoppers bought them for a while. Most drifted back to the cheaper box. The factory struggled for a decade, and in 1901, Bryant and May bought it. Britain finally banned white phosphorus matches in 1908, effective at the start of 1910, roughly 70 years after doctors first described Phossy jaw.
It is tempting to make Bryant and May the whole villain, and the company earned its reputation. But the poison stayed in the matchbox because a chain of people kept choosing it. Shareholders liked the dividends. Shoppers liked the price. Parliament moved at the speed of trade. And the women stayed at the benches because the East End offered nothing better. The strikers of 1888 beat a famous company in 2 weeks. Getting the phosphorus out of the matches took 22 more years, because that required everyone else to give something up. Today, the Bow Factory is a gated complex of expensive apartments. Over the brickwork, the original tiled motto survives: Ex luce lucellum. From light, a little profit.